In this preview, I thought we'd grab another leg of the Mysteries of the Abandoned map that I have. If you haven't seen our other video on the Mysteries of the Abandoned, we did one on Italy. And at the beginning of each segment, they give you the latitude and longitude of the location they're going to talk about. So I've been just keeping track of the latitude and longitude for 7 seasons. Problem with the Italy leg was it ended up being about a 200-mile leg, so it was kind of long. So let's see if we can find something like here where there's a bunch of stuff together. Okay, so that's Berlin. There's bound to be some world map points of interest in Berlin. Let's go ahead and chop this out. What we can do is go into world map and let Microsoft Flight Simulator help us out. Yes, okay, and there are additional points of interest. We can add some more push pins for those. That looks like a pretty reasonable route, and it's down to 87 miles, so let's go ahead and fly it. So here we are at Kremen-Hohenbrook Airport, and for the X-Cub, this little grass field should be no problem at all. Remember, these flights are free to fly for everyone, so you can just go to World Map and load up the flight, fly it yourself. You can download them at simflightplan.com/downloads. I'll include the link to this one in the description box. Alright, so our first one is a little dark. It's Nazi Bakery, Sachsenhausen. Yeah, so that's it. That's Sachsenhausen. The 1936 Olympic Village is next. Here's the 1936 Olympic Village. Well, considering that's the only hill anywhere around, that must be Teufelsberg Hill. Supposed to be some radomes at the top left over from Soviet era occupation. I guess it was a East German listening post, listening in on NATO communications. Oh, there they are. It's all the surrounding buildings, no radomes left either. Flight Simulator didn't know how to render them, or maybe they're gone. There's the Olympic Stadium, essentially right next door. There's our Charlottenburg Palace and fancy gardens. And there's the Tiergarten. And the Reichstag should be right here. There it is. The Brandenburg Gate. There's a better look at the Brandenburg Gate. And there's our cathedral. And that should be St. Nicholas Church. There's our tower. There's our TV tower. Maybe a little better look at the Berlin Cathedral. And there's St. Nick's. Okay, and there's just too many famous places to point out. I mean, there were tons more famous buildings and interesting sites all over the place. There's another dark one, the Stasi Museum. I think it's that gray building there. East German Secret Police. So that should be Rangsdorf Airfield. If I'm not mistaken, I thought the significance of Rangsdorf was post-World War I. It was a way for the Nazis to encourage pilots to practice without actually having an air force. You'd think a Zeppelin hangar would be easy to find, but you might be wrong. It should be right here. I guess maybe that's it. There's a Red Army headquarters building. It is a distinctive building, I remember from the show, but it looks like, and I mean that building is distinctive, but I don't think it's quite rendered correctly. We're 20 miles away from the sanatorium. It's the last one. We'll fly past the airport on the way to it. There's Schoenhagen Airport. If you decide not to fly out to Belitz Sanatorium, you can land straight in on 2-4, probably, from 2. So I think that big fancy building in the trees there is the Belitz Sanatorium. As I recall the story, it was a tuberculosis hospital built basically for the working people, just common workers to go recover from tuberculosis, although I think in those days it was to go die of tuberculosis. But again, you can use the waypoint numbers to figure out what the episode was. Alright, and Schoenhagen Airport and 8 miles. We already passed Schoenhagen Airport, so there's really not much to look at. So this is Schoenhagen Airport, and this is the end of our Mysteries of the Abandoned Berlin trip from seasons 1 through 7 of Mysteries of the Abandoned on the Science Channel. This flight is free to fly for everyone, so just download it off the website at simflightplan.com/download. I'll include the link to it in the description box. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.